So, Narad Bhakti Sutra. It has 84 verses. And we will try to squeeze everything. Okay? 84 verses. So, it's a shorter scripture as compared to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And it's much easier to understand than the Yoga Sutra. Like 1,000 times easier to understand. It's not so complicated. Even a lay person just casually reading can understand this scripture. All bhakti scriptures are like that. There's no philosophy, no? In bhakti yoga, there's no philosophy as such. So, the bhakti scriptures are filled with what? Inspirational stories, how it should be, what happens, that's it. There's no, this is our ideology, this and that. No ideology. Okay? So, the first verse, first sutra. I will say it and then we will repeat. The shorter ones, the bigger ones we will skip chanting. Athato bhaktim vyakhyasyaamah. Okay, so I will say it, you will repeat it. Athato bhakti vyakhyasyaamah. Athato bhaktim vyakhyasyaamah. So, the literal athato comes from two words, atha and ataha, but that's technical. It means therefore, now. So, atha means now and atah means therefore. So, now, therefore, we shall teach bhakti or the doctrine of divine love. So remember, all sutras will start with such a line, introductory line. Atha yoganushasanam. Athato bhakti vyakhyasyaamah. There's another sutra called Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra, which starts as Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Like this. Okay? Clear? So, what is this saying? Now, therefore, we shall expound the religion or the teachings of divine love. Introductory. Now, therefore, why these two? All repeating from Yoga Sutra. Okay. Now, why now? Why is he saying now? He could have just said Ataha Yoga Anushasan. Here is Yoga. Atha, this is Bhakti Sutra. Why Atha? Yes. Now. Yes, now, because you are ready. Yesterday you were not ready. And this is what I was saying. We are here together because now, Atah. Therefore I am teaching you now. 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago, I would not have taught you. What does this mean? You have qualified yourself to know these teachings. And this qualification is important. What have you done in your life? I don't know. God sent you here. That means you have been sent by the boss. So you have been evaluated by the boss. So I have no reason to question that. But this, you deserve it. How do you deserve it? Because you have done something prior that makes you qualified to achieve this. This is called adhikar. Adhikar. Adhikar means the right to receive. You have the right to receive now. 5 days ago, 5 years ago, I would say, no, come after 10 years, like this. But something happened. You have done something beyond our scope of imagination, evaluated only by the Lord. Now you are ready to receive these teachings because you have become an adhikari. Adhikari means, in short, self-responsible. You are self-responsible. And a self-responsible bhakta means somebody who doesn't blame anybody. Not even God. Forget others, other family members, boss, office, job, difficult circumstances. No. No blame. If you don't like it, get out. Why sit there and complain? If you don't like it and you can't get out, sit there, think of it as it is a challenge for you through which you will learn and bear it. Be resilient. There's no other way. Either get out and do something else or stay there and build yourself. Duality. Okay? Now, who is qualified? People who are qualified now should not have any superiority complex, because till yesterday you were not qualified. There is somebody who is not qualified today, will be super qualified after tomorrow. And Krishna says this in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, that everybody is welcome for these teachings. May not be now, but some or other time. Even the worst of the sinner, Krishna says. Even the worst sinner is capable of receiving this science of liberation. So chapter 9 verse 30 and verse 31. You can go home and read it. It's a very empowering verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, whatever I am telling you, Arjuna, everybody can receive it. The worst criminal, the low caste, dumb, blind, who doesn't matter. Because the soul wisdom is for everybody. So this teaching of liberation is not only for a few. Every time in every religion this will happen. The holders of religion will say this teaching is only for us and only we can give you, the priests and everybody. And the saints will always come and destroy this ideology. No, it's for everybody. Okay, clear? Next line. Sa tvasmin para prema rupa. Parama prema rupa. Okay, so we'll say it. Sa tvasmin parama prema rupa. Now, these 84 verses just run straight away, but many saints have distributed these verses to make it easily accessible to us. So from verse 1 to verse 7, they are defining something called as Parama Prem. Now we'll spend some time on this. Parama Prem means, Prema means love. Parama Prema means supreme love. And this is something we need to understand. Supreme love is not just love, not any other love. I love my dog. No, that's not super bhakti. Sa tvasmin parama prema rupa. Sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. Bhakti is supreme love. Let us look at this in a different way. Now, an example I usually give is, imagine two people. One person has finally fallen in love, and the other person is still looking for a partner. One person the person A who has finally fallen in love, genuinely, let's assume, was like, till 2 days ago, I was alone, I was lonely, I was looking for some partner, I was missing my other half and all that. And now, all those things don't exist anymore. Because finally, I have fallen in love and I have found somebody. And the other guy, person B, still looking. So, there are two loves or two bhaktis like this. One is where the Parama Prem, the supreme love has happened. So, Narada is describing now for the next 6 verses, how does it feel to have that supreme love? And he tells us what it is. The other guy, we will see. Our case is the other person. Still wanting to fall in love, doesn't know how. So Narada will give us the methods. Like Narada will say, hey, join dating site. Tell your friends to connect you with some nice people. All these techniques, to find somebody. Right? So, sa tvasmin parama prema rupa. What is the difference between normal love and supreme love? Let us throw it open for discussion. Conditionality. And what is conditionality? If there are 3 stages of love in Greek philosophy. You can write them down. Eros, Philos, and some people say agape or agape. Eros, Philos, Philos, and agape, Agape. The eros is if-based love. If. If-based love. I love you if you give me security. I am ready to marry you. Whatever it is. If-based love, we know if. In all levels it happens in husband-wife relationship, mother-child relationship, even guru-disciple relationship. So it is not, love is love. Second is philos. Philos is because-based love. Because. I love you because. The worst conditionality. And third is agape. It is in spite based love. In spite. I love you in spite. Is clear? There is no conditionality in supreme love. You don't care for anything or anyone. You only know your love is the truth. It is not based in senses. It is not based in mere assurances. It is an actual experience. It is not based in senses. Means what? It is not merely based in senses. Yes, it gives you pleasure, but it's not only that kind of pleasure. Not merely sense pleasure. It's like Why did you fall in love with your wife? I've read these such interviews so many times. In newspapers, magazines. It's like, oh, when I first saw her, thing that pulled me to her was her hair, and that's it. I saw her hair and I became weak in my knees. So, and now she went yesterday and cut it all off, and now I don't know. I don't know what to do. I thought I loved her, but I love her hair. So I went to the salon and got her hair. I'm getting married to the hair now. No, I mean, it's there. Huh? I mean, that's why relationships survive and break, survive and break. If you are going to fall in love because of a conditional factor, that conditional factor is subject to change. It has no conditionality, param prema rupa. It is a little difficult for us to understand, but we will assume. Secondly, it prevents other kinds of love. This is the beauty. Prevents means what? It doesn't stop you. It gathers courage and gives you. It makes you one-pointed. Means what? If you love Krishna, then doesn't mean you will stop loving everybody else. No. The love of Krishna will pull everybody up. It's like that. Okay? And the third factor is the most important factor. Self-forgetfulness. What means self-forgetfulness? The ego. Ego will always be trampled under the feet of divine love. And there is a story in Bhagavad. Bhagavad Puran is a very, very important scripture for Bhakti Yogis. There is a story. The story is Krishna. Okay, now you need to understand something, that Gopies, there were some women called as Gopies. In life of Krishna, Krishna was a cow herder. Okay, he had lots of cows. And the whole village, their whole clan was about taking care of cows. And the women who used to take care of cows are called Gopies. And the men are called Gopas. Okay, so these women called as Gopies used to love Krishna. And we will see how these women, these Gopis, are the highest, are said to have highest possible level of love towards Krishna. Now many people will question this. Why? Because most of the Gopis, almost all of the Gopis used to look at Krishna as their own lover. As their own lover, beloved. If you read some stories of Gopis, you will not even, you will say, oh my God, this is really an ethical scripture or what? In spite of having husbands back home, even Radha, Krishna's divine consort, was married. But if you see her Leela or her games with Krishna, this is a very, very different level of understanding. In Bhakti, you can't. That's why people have very, very hard time understanding Bhakti scriptures. They come from this Yama Niyama and then they read Bhakti scripture and they say, what happened? The Yoga Sutra says this and now this. You have to completely disassociate from this. Why? Because heart has no reason that the mind can understand. Love, the heart, has no reason. There cannot be reasoning. Otherwise you will fall in love like this. Oh, I fell in love because of her eyes and hair. Or I love him because he is rich. SWOT analysis. So what happens is Krishna is always praising the Gopis in front of his wives. So Narada tells him, please stop. I mean, your wives are feeling jealous, insecure. Don't praise these gopis in front of your 16,108 wives. So Krishna doesn't say anything. Krishna immediately starts faking an illness. He says, I have very bad headache. Please do something. Please do something. Find something. So everybody starts running helter-skelter. What to do? What to do? What's the medicine? They call doctors and surgeons, and still there's no solution. Because of course there cannot be solution because Krishna is faking the illness. So finally Narad says, my Lord, it is your illness. You are the all-knower. So you only tell us what is the solution. So he said, the only solution for my illness, my headache, is the foot dust of my loved ones. Charana Raja, they say. Raja means dust. So Charana Raja means the foot dust. So basically all this, the dust that comes out of your foot, I will make a paste out of it and I will apply on my head, and only then my headache will go away. So Narad says, great, you know the solution. I'll quickly get it from somebody. So he goes to each and every wife of his first. He says, our Lord knows the medicine. It's basically your foot dust. So every wife says, are you crazy? We will not give our foot dust. It's insulting on our husband, Our husband is like a god, and no, we will not go to hell because of this. We don't want that. So Narad says, what? Okay. And Narad goes around town, asking people to donate their foot dust, but nobody complies. Nobody. Finally, he sees one gopi on a swing, mentally thinking of Krishna, of course, water running away, not focusing on her work. So he goes and tells her, the moment she sees Narada, she says, what happened? How is Krishna? How is my Lord? He says, he's okay. I mean, he will be okay because we have found the solution. So he says, she says, what is the solution? He says, the solution is he wants the foot dust of somebody who loves him. She says, immediately get me a scraper. And she starts scraping her foot. He says, what are you doing? She says, I'm giving you my foot dust. Please, quickly, don't lose time. Take it to him. So he says, but aren't you afraid of consequences? You are going to give your foot dust to the Lord's head? You will be banished to hell. She says, I don't care what happens to me. If this is the solution, if this is the medicine, quickly go and give it to him. And all the gopis do the same thing. And finally, of course, the scene ends there. Finally, Narada understands why Krishna is praising gopis. And gopis are the cowherd women who take care of the cows in their village, in Krishna's village. So Narada understands why Krishna regards them as an epitome of supreme love as compared to everybody else, even the men, even everybody else. They are afraid. So this is an example given in the scripture saying that in supreme love, your self-concept also disappears. That means what? Disappearance of ego. Even in our level of love also we see, when you fall in love, you are ready, more than happy to do things for your partner. When two people fall in love, one person's office is in north of city, other person's office is south of city. Then one partner will drive to the other side of the city to pick up the wife or girlfriend, and many times we see that after marriage and all this doesn't work. They say, oh, you come by your car, I will come by my car, or you come by train, we will meet at home. Things like that. So when the love is shining bright and elevating, you don't care for yourself. You are ready to do things for your partner. And that's the Parama Prema. Now, I purposely want to bring in other views here because this bhakti is not a Hindu or a yogic view. Please understand. And I want to neutralize this. Even though you are studying yoga, which is a Indian Hindu kind of a science, it has nothing to do with. Love has no religion. And in Bible it is said in John, love is fulfillment of the law. Whoever does not love does not know God. This is one of my favorite lines from the Bible. John chapter 1. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Now, what bigger line than you want in Bible? Forget the whole Bible, just read this line. 1 John 4, 8. Chapter 4, verse 8. Verse 8. Even in Islam, there are two concepts. Ishq Hakiki and Ishq Mizazi. Ishq Mizazi means the love of sensory pleasures. And Ishq Hakiki, Hak means what we call truth. Brahma is Brahmam Satyam. That is Hak. Anal Hak. Anal Hak means I am. Aham Brahmasmi. In Quran it is Anal Hak. Hak, Ishq, Hakiki means the love of the truth. So there are two levels of love. Conditional love, Ishq Mizazi, and unconditional love, Ishq Hakiki. So love is the basis of everything, and therefore moving towards absolute love is a natural flow. Natural. You can't stay away from absoluteness of love. Any questions till here? Because it is important for us to understand this.
So does this also say that when will a bhakta start experiencing that love?
If a bhakta waits, when? That means the trust is less. There is another story. Bhakti is full of story. You know that story of two bhaktas? Okay. Two bhaktas were doing sadhana for years. I've told many times this story. So Narada is going. Narada is always there. Narada is going from there. Remember, Kate? Narada is going from there. And the bhakta say, oh, Narada is going to meet the God. Let us see how much time is still left. So he says, Bhakta number A asks Narada, I have been doing sadhana for 1,000 years. Are you on the way to heaven? So Narada says, yes. So can you ask the Lord, please, how many more years? I am desperate to meet him. And then Narad goes ahead, and Bhakta number 2 also says the same thing. Oh, are you going to heaven? Please ask how many more years. And then after 10,000 years, Narad comes down. And then Bhakta number A, both are doing their sadhana. So Bhakta number A meets him and he says, did you ask the Lord how many more years? So he says, The Lord said, you still have as many years, as many leaves that are there on this tree. So be a little patient. So this Bhakta loses his cool and says, what? I practiced for so many years and still I have to wait for these 10,000 years? Damn it. He throws all his mala and everything and storms away. So Narada just smirks and Narada walks ahead and then he says this Bhakta number B. So Bhakta number B says, did you ask the Lord? And Narada says, oh, let me play the same game with this guy. And he says, yes, as many years, as many trees there are on this, leaves there are on this tree. So this Bhakta's reaction is totally different. The Bhakta says, what? Really? Yay, that's amazing. I get so many more years to drown myself in the love of the Lord. So this is the difference. How many more years? Oh, 15 more. Oh no. That means what? That means the sadhana has not become love oriented. It's a punishment. And you will see later Narad says, that's why path of bhakti is easy. See, it's like this. If you love somebody, to wake up in the morning and make tea for that loved one is joy. But if you don't love somebody, if you are an air hostess, making chai for somebody who is flying as a customer is a tedious job. That's the difference. That's why sometimes we as yogis don't like to get up for our sadhana. Because we feel sadhana is a routine. I skipped yesterday. It's okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But imagine when that love comes in your heart and when you are on the yoga mat and when you meditate and you feel that expansion of love, you will not delay the sadhana. You will skip your shower, you will not brush your teeth, but you will do your sadhana. Because connecting that 1 hour to absolute love is like no other recharge in the world. That is why many times our sadhana, our asana practice, our pranayam, our japa feels tedious. And then you have to struggle to make time for it. But if something is love oriented, no. So don't think of time. Bhakti and time has nothing. Okay, now we will see what all happens in this bhakti. Third, Amrita Swarupa Cha. Amrita Swarupa Cha. Okay, so we will say it. Amrita Swarupa Cha. So this is the second qualification of the bhakti. So how is the supreme love? Number one, supreme love is, how is the bhakti, para-bhakti, highest form of bhakti? How is this bhakti? So Narad says bhakti happens as supreme love and bhakti happens in the form of Amrita. Amrita means what? Amrita has two meanings. Amrita means immortality and Amrita means nectar. You can say, take whichever meaning. Nectar in a nice romanticism way. I have bathed myself in the nectar of devotion. So you know what he means. Immortality is, how does supreme love contribute to immortality? Absolutely. Do we realize that we live in identity? We live an identity-based life. Please understand this concept. We live an identity-based life. If that identity is taken away, the problems coming out of that identity will go away. Means.
Say that slowly.
Okay, I'll give an example.
Get the first bit, just that when the problem.
Our challenges and problems are based in identity. If the identity melts, the problem stemming out of it will also melt away. Now I consider myself a yoga teacher because I just finished a teacher training course. So now I am qualified to call myself a yoga teacher. So I will have yoga teacher problems. Till 2 months ago, I was not a qualified yoga teacher, so I did not have yoga teacher problems. Understand this. Please understand this. A pilot will have a pilot problems. A pilot will not have a carpenter's problem. No, he's not a carpenter. These are identities. Somebody who is not a mother will not have mother's issues. Understand this. As a yoga teacher, what will be my challenge? Oh, I cannot speak properly in front of people. I have to behave in a certain way. Yeah, all these are based out of a certain role, a certain agenda. When that role or agenda goes away, the problems will also go away. Please understand this. And that's why in yoga we dilute all these roles till we realize I am not a role at all. I am just playing the roles. That's why a real yogi will be able to switch off, switch on, switch on, switch off the roles that they play. I am a yoga teacher when I am teaching a class. Outside of that, I am just a normal person. Please remember this. And that's why Amrita, because when you reach the supreme bhakti, all the lesser roles that you play, but they are of no consequence. For example, a father. He is a father, but he is a supreme bhakta. He will not have father problems. You know why? Because he will have problems as a father, but all his problems are directed towards God, and he will have absolute faith in God. So he will do what he has to, and he will say, Krishna, take care of my problems, I will do what I have to. So a father who has reached this supreme bhakti will not sit and wonder, what will happen to my child after 10 years? I have not done enough. I don't have enough money to secure my child's future. Absolutely no. A bhakta will never have such a worry. Never. Doesn't make the bhakta irresponsible. And this is something important that I want to say. Because if you go out and say this in the practical world, what they will say is, yeah, bhakti and all is okay, but you have to be practical too. No, this is conditional bhakti, gauni bhakti. No. Absolute faith. That's why you see saints doing such crazy things. If you feel, yes, I am a true devotee, but I have to worry, it's not true devotion. Not. Sorry. Then you are just calling yourself a true devotion. We will see that. It is written later. Okay? Amrita. Is this clear? Is it coming at a very fast pace to all of you? There is a lot to absorb. And we are just on the 3rd verse now. Understand what dies. Mrita. You can have a whole scripture on this one word. Mrita. Who dies? And what doesn't die? Will everything here die?
Yes.
Why?
It's material, mortal.
Yes, it's material. 100 years ago, this house was not there. Now, this house is there.
No, but the nature.
Nature too. Nature too. Tomorrow earth will be destroyed.
What, like in an earthquake or something like that?
The whole earth did not exist 11 billion years ago.
But this tree will die, another tree will
This tree will die, another tree will come. Remember one thing, and I make it a point to say this in all my lectures, even if the topic is different. Only the truth is permanent. Everything else is impermanent. If you attach yourself to impermanent things, you are only asking for sorrow. Today you're hungry, you get good food, you love the food, you eat it, it is finished. The same food the next morning becomes, you know what. Right? This is transfer. This whole world is passing by. Transitory. The reason for our sorrow is why we die. The reason for our death is we get attached to something that is temporary. We feel that the temporary is permanent. But when the temporary finishes its stay in this world, we are upset. Every time I see my nephew, Anita's son, I always tell him, why did you grow up? You were so cute when you were small. So I'm attached to the idea of he being small. But he's growing now, he's almost a man. Transitory, transitory. Everything is moving. So attach yourself, but be ready to detach also. You should know how to play this game. And a bhakta will know how to play this game. Why? Bhakta has attached himself to permanent God. That's it. Let the other things come and go. This is very, very important. The reason for our sorrow is a mistaken concept. Please understand this. The reason for our sorrow is we are expecting permanence from something that can never be permanent. Finish.
But as soon as we put a higher good to what we're doing, or our output, that does change.
Definitely.
Moves us on the path.
Definitely.
Like I think of Mother Teresa, or, obviously there's smaller versions of that. Like,
Definitely. It will change at microscopic level also.
yeah.
For example, see.
Like the attachment is different when you're doing your work or your service in bhakti.
Yes, attachment will be different. You will be attached.
The identity is not there as your own labels.
Correct.
Yes.
Mother Teresa did not work for herself, but for her Christ. So the identity, the burden of identity is passed on to God, not to yourself. So tomorrow Mother Teresa's hospital comes crumbling down, she'll say, it's will of my Lord. I have nothing to lose. But if somebody millionaire's hospital falls down, he'll say, oh, it was my loss. Yeah. See, even we live at multiple levels. Now, being, man, prasad, yoga teacher. So yoga teacher problems on yoga teacher, okay? Now if I forget myself as a yoga teacher, and if I identify myself as prasad, those problems will go away. So there are levels of identities too. So understand where your problems are coming from. And it is very easy. Very easy. Every problem will be based in a certain belief system. Break that belief system, the problem will not have any ground. And this is why this is a very, very important verse. Amrita, he dies because he as an individual with his own ego doesn't exist anymore. Next, now we will see the three verses together. 4, 5, 6. Okay? Yallabdva puman siddho bhavati amrito bhavati tro bhavati. So, now we will see what happens in such a state of supreme love. So, repeat after me. Yallabdva puman siddho bhavati Amrito bhavati. Tripto bhavati. So, yal labdhva means yat labdhva means having gained that. So, upon achieving that stage of transcendental devotion, what happens to the devotee? Becomes perfect, becomes immortal, and becomes peaceful. Okay. Even though it is written there peaceful.
Middle translation of immortal.
Okay.
It's like I don't have a word name for that.
Okay. Doesn't die. Immortal means mort, no? Death. So immortal means doesn't die, doesn't perish with change of time. So upon achieving this stage of transcendental devotion, the devotee becomes perfect.
Sorry, once again, just continuing with that. So when we look at the last verse and you explain immortality there, you're not talking about physical, it's the ego death, right?
Yes.
So immortality, which comes from destroying ego.
Destroying identity. And if you look at it from a totally elemental point, identity will give you the body.
Yeah.
It's like this. Even in one lifetime it happens. For 1 year I think negative thoughts. The structure of my body is different in the next year. Yes. So next life will depend on the content of my mind in this life. So if I destroy my ego in this life, no body or very nice body. Means pure body, not model body. Okay. So we have to understand this. Having gained that, what happens? Siddho bhavati. Now I will give you some different meanings of this, because even though I have got it translated, one becomes perfect. Instead of perfect, write empowered. I choose to. And Sanskrit as a language gives you this option of interpreting the way you want. So I am not going against some thumb rule, okay? Siddhi means empowerment. So look at it as empowerment. What happens? A bhakta, having reached the highest stage of devotion, becomes empowered. What is the next? Amrito bhavati. Becomes indestructible. Instead of immortality, because we saw that again before, right? Indestructible. Nothing can destroy. Why? Because the ego is already destroyed. What can destroy? It's like Mrudul doesn't smoke. So somebody comes and says, Mrudul, I will not give you a cigarette packet. Means nothing to her. Means nothing, really doesn't mean anything to her. But if she is a smoker, Mrudul, I will not give you the cigarette packet. And she'll say, please give me, blah, blah, blah. It means nothing to her. So for a devotee, all these things don't mean anything. Because only link is with God. And the third is, this is one of my favorite words, trupto bhavati. Now, even though I have translated it as peaceful, you strike it and say content. Content. Because this is one word. In my spiritual life, I try to be this. My whole focus is on trying to generate contentment. Rest all will come.
When you start experiencing this bhakti, okay, then what are the changes that you try to feel? I mean, what are the changes that one feels within themselves?
These.
This is what I was trying to
Yes.
ask.
Now there are other two verses too.
Do they give us as to what would happen when you, not as a time frame, but experiential? Because you had said that it is experiential. Bhakti is experiential.
Correct.
So what in one's experience would change? So this is what.
So now, this is why he is saying, we all have experienced this. You understand? But in a microscopic level. Empowerment, yes. You see your bank balance, you say, empowered. You feel a little empowered. Or you get an additional qualification. You buy a new house. This Amruto, indestructible. Yes. And contentment, nice. Yes, we have experienced all this, but they are not yet lasting. This is the problem. We have experienced all this. That's why people have to say, no, oh, I went to that temple, I felt so peaceful and content. But then when I came out, I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours. So this, in Parabhakti, in supreme devotion, this will not happen. That supreme devotion, Bhakta will say, oh, I was feeling so peaceful in the traffic. And you'll be like, what? And that's why the Parabhakta doesn't have to run to temples to feel good. Very, very important. So, and this is why Bhakti as a path is very accessible to us. Please understand. There's nothing here that you have not experienced yet. It just has to multiply 100-fold. And that's why it is very easy to grasp Bhakti scriptures. You know, oh yes, I have understood that contentment. Yes, I have experienced that empowerment. Is this clear? These 3 points. What did I say? Empowerment, indestructibility, and contentment.
But then when you're content, it's like empowered and indestructible will just be there. Right?
Yes. Yeah, but in the scriptures they purposely will write 2, 3 things. See, they are all connected. You can't be empowered and content. You can't not be. Yeah, with empowerment, of course you will have this feeling of indestructibility. Then it's not empowerment. So all these things will move together. Okay. The next is, let's see what he gains. Okay. Yat prapya na kinchid vanchati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate, notsahi bhavati. So let's repeat. Yat prapya na kinchid vanchati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate, na utsahi bhavati. Now this is beautiful. What does it say? On achieving that, on attaining that, one does not desire anything else. One grieves no more. One is free from hatred or jealousy. One does not take pleasure in vanities of life. And one loses all eagerness to gain anything for oneself. Do you see this? There is a beautiful oxymoron here. He's talking about what one gains, but he's talking about losing. See the beauty of the scripture. What will you gain? You will gain only by losing. What does that mean?
But the loss is not how we understand loss.
Yes, but why? Why is it that when I subtract something from you, you don't lose?
Because it's not necessary, obviously.
Look at it mathematically. I subtract something from something, and that the value of that doesn't go down.
Minus, two negatives.
Minus infinity. I take away something from infinite. There's nothing that loses. Please understand this. Understand.
You also create the space for more love by taking away.
Yeah, but my point is, where is that love?
You're taking away something not
That's in the
true.
infinite.
Yeah, but where is it? It is already there within you. This was the point. That's why when I take things off, it doesn't come from somewhere. It just reveals itself. This is what I was saying. Please understand this. This is very, very important. I'm just taking, it's like that Michelangelo carved David. It's a beautiful example. Michelangelo had a, you know that, chunk of rock. But he saw David in it and he just scraped away pieces of rock and bam, David was always there inside.
It's even like in asana, people are like, oh, I could never be that flexible, but with constant practice.
Absolutely.
It was already there, but
Yes.
moving away the blocks.
Correct.
Yeah.
The muscle has a capacity to be flexible. Well, you haven't tried to flex the muscle, so it will not happen. This verse shows us that everything is there within us. And this is something that we all need to understand. Everything is there within us. There is absolutely no necessity to run around externally to find something.
That's what you were saying last night. No more need for courses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We all have it within us. What do we have within us? Something that is really we need. Not like if you say, oh, what do you mean? You don't have a car. Yeah, I don't have a car, but I'm content. I have taxi. You see, I don't need a car. When I want to move, what is a car? It's a mode of transport. I just call. I get a mode of transport. I'm not dependent.
Basically lose the desire for the car.
Correct. Correct. You strip it down to its bare objectivity.
Which is transport.
Yes, which is movement from one place to another. You can do it in whichever way. You don't have to go in a SUV which is above Audi Q5. Just call a taxi. And your self-esteem is not associated with it. That's the beautiful thing. Oh, and then I arrived in Audi Q7 and everybody was looking at me. I felt empowered. A bhakta doesn't care for that. A bhakta doesn't care for that. Now imagine the empowerment when your confidence doesn't depend on external things. Wow. This is how you become immortal. Immortality should not just be looked at as death. It should be looked at as destruction. Tomorrow I go to a party and I look good, I am looking presentable, I go. And everybody says, what? Is this what you're wearing? I say, yeah, that's my style. That's it. How empowered. And if you don't have that, you go and, oh, I feel underdressed, sorry, I did not know the dress code, apologizing 1,000 times to the host. So this is a very important verse. One thing that I like in this verse is, actually everything. Na kinchid vanchati. In Sanskrit it makes such beautiful sense. Vanchati means neediness. Like, I have a house, but one more room would have been nice. I live in a 2-bedroom house, but a little garage would have been better. I have 2 cars, but now my daughter is growing up, so another small car would be nice. This kinchit vanchati. Vanchati. A little bit here. Oh, I am full. I ate a 7-course buffet, but ice cream would be nice. This doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Now please understand the amount of empowerment it will give you. Next is na shochati, means absolutely no worry. Absolutely no worry. Because sense of responsibility is passed on the God, no? Lord, I will do what I can, rest you manage. That's why in India the temples are crowded before exam time. Everybody goes to temple, nobody studies. Na shochati. Na dveshti, and this is important. Na dveshti means no jealousy or hatred towards the other. Why? Equal vision. That's what we were saying yesterday. Equal vision. If Lord is within me, then He is within you also. Jnaneshwar says very beautifully, Je je dise bhuta tethe manije bhagavanta. The definition of Bhakti Yoga in Jnaneshwari, the scripture of Hatha Yoga and Bhakti, is wherever you see a being, find God within. Being, not a human. So even dog, cat, doesn't matter. This is his definition of Bhakti Yogi, imagine. Okay? And na ramate. Na ramate, what have I translated here? Does not take pleasure in vanities of life. Okay, this is a nice translation. But in ramate, I will give you another word which we will identify with. Drama. Does not create drama around himself. In Bhakta's life, there is absolutely no drama. No drama. A Bhakta's life is bland, but he doesn't feel bland because he is rejoicing all the time, dancing, singing, elevated.
So, does by growing the bhakti remove the drama, or by removing the drama do we grow the bhakti?
Both. Because now we are talking about an ideal.
I guess I knew the answer, I just had to hear it out.
No, see, now we are looking at an ideal state. Later on, he tells us how to come towards an ideal state. In that he will say, move away from people who don't serve your, all the negative energy, this. You have to do. It's like again saying, okay, how do you fall in love? There is no formula. But registering yourself on a dating site will help. Yeah. I want to get married, I am sitting at home, I don't get out. So what will you say? Get out, go, meet people. Yes, you do your bit.
Yeah.
I am not saying you will fall in love with somebody, maybe not. There are people who date for 4-5 years and nothing happens. Right? Or sometimes you step out and bam.
Isn't that also the union of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga?
Absolutely.
You do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
It's not karma.
Absolutely. Actions cannot be devoid of faith. That is blind faith. Not faith in God. Blind faith is when your faith is not backed by action, it is blind. It is not just even blind, it's lame. And last one I like, no, na utsahi bhavati, means no unnecessary enthusiasm for every little thing. Means what? In our words, don't poke your nose in everyone's business. Otherwise, people are more than happy to help others. Not themselves. To avoid helping themselves, they will be like, hey, how's your life? And the moment they ask you, you know that they want a little pie from your cake, your stuff.
Prasad, sorry, can you please explain this sense of responsibility is passed on to the higher ideal, or so can you please explain this?
So I am a parent, I have 3 children. Oh, I did not do anything. I am worried what will be in their future. Oh, I need to earn a lot of money to secure their future. What will happen in 20 years? Will they care for me when I grow old? All these worries will disappear in a bhakta. So what will the bhakta do? The bhakta will go for work, get money, do the savings for the children, have a good life, but he will not unnecessary worry because he is not bogged down by the sense of responsibility. Why? Because he knows he is never alone. He knows he is never alone. It's like saying, I'm a 21-year-old boy, I started my own business, I invested $1 million and I am trying my best to do what I can, but I also know that my father is a billionaire And if I lose money, I will always be saved. That confidence. Now, if that person invests his own $1 million and doesn't have a $1 billion father, what will happen? Sense of responsibility is too much. If I lose this, I will lose my face and blah and blah and blah. We all have a billionaire father and billionaire mother. Mother also, huh? Yeah, both are the same, parents. Don't differentiate between Shiva and Shakti. So always, oh, my dad has my back. Like Christ saying, no? My father, my father. Every other verse Christ is saying, my father, my father. That shows his bhakti. That shows his bhakti.
So I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I was trying to explain this concept because she was feeling very burdened. So she said, if I do what you're saying, then I'm sure that my son will never get an MBA because I have to keep doing what I'm doing so that I can put him through MBA. This was her answer. I gave my answer, but I want to know what somebody like...
The problem is she wants her son to do MBA.
Correct.
That is the problem.
And how do you know he wants...
He will be better becoming a flight purser. He will have a time of his life and he will love his job and he'll get to travel the world. But problem is she wants him to be an MBA because it has good value. My son is a flight purser.
But to be honest, this is what we've been conditioned. It's not her fault in that sense.
No, it's nobody's fault.
This is what she needs to do for him.
Okay, fine. Let's see the other practical view, okay? Okay, I want my son to be an MBA. I am doing what I can.
Yeah.
And the rest is in God's hand. Done, no? You save money for him, you push him to study for entrance exams, do whatever you can. But not by forcing him. Because of your force, he may not want to do an MBA even if he gets through an entrance exam. So, everybody needs to curtail their expectations there. A devotee doesn't expect anything from anybody because God gives him straight away. Practically, he will expect. He goes to a market, he buys 12 eggs, he will expect that the quality of eggs is good. He will not say, God will give me eggs. Devotee is not a stupid person. Yeah, he buys a flight ticket, he will expect good service. He will not say, God will fly me. No, not stupidity. Bhakti doesn't mean stupidity. Okay, let's see the third. Yat jnatva matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, atma ramo bhavati. Now this is beautiful. So, yat, come on. Yat jnatva matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, atma ramo bhavati. This atma ram word is beautiful. Beautiful. But we'll see that later. Yad jnatma. Jnatva means having realized that. You see, first one was achieve, second one was attain, and third one is realized. There is a slight difference, but actually no difference. Having realized that, the devotee becomes intoxicated with bliss. Very important. Matto bhavati. Actually, matta doesn't mean intoxicated. You know what it means? It means... No, matta means it's not a state, it's a kind of high. You see, we say, oh, I am a little high, right? That devotee's high is matta. Like we say, you are overconfident. You're flying too high. Devotee feels like that, but not from the confidence of ego. He feels, I'm always supported. Yes. I am carried. Literally. Matta means I am carried. Like you must have read that story, no? In difficult time, it's very sentimental. I saw only 2 footprints And then God says, I was carrying you, my child, they were my footprint, didn't you see the shoe size? Huh? So, it's literally like that. It's literally, life becomes effortless, really effortless. Then people will say, how did you deal with that challenge? Oh my God, it would have broken us down, but you handle it so nicely with such good poise. And you are like, really? Okay. Yeah? So matta is like, there is this element of flotation, buoyancy to it. Matta. Second is stabda. Stabda means what? What is I have written? Inert. Okay. Silent. Okay. I would say stable. Stabda means like unshaken. Stoic. And the last one, my favorite, Atma Rama Bhavati. Atma Rama means, it comes from two words, Atma Arama. Means, he rests in his self. Atma Arama. There is a beautiful sense of deep state of relaxation. Relax, chill. And I have this theory, a little theory in my head, that we can only relax completely when we are ready to trust. No amount of meditation, no amount of pranayam, no amount of sleep, no amount of yoga nidra will help you if you are not ready to trust and let go. Do you see trust means let go? Do you see that? I always give this example. Now, Mrudul has a daughter. She is 8 years old, okay? And Mrudul has to go for some work and her daughter is alone at home. So she says, Prasad, can I drop her at your house? I need to go somewhere for 5 hours. I say, yeah, please. So she comes in my house and her daughter is playing and so Mrudul goes for her work. And then 5 hours becomes 6 hours, 6 hours becomes 7 hours. What will Mrudul do? She just call me and say, Prasad, I'll be a little late. I said, don't worry, it's okay. Mrudul doesn't worry because of her trust. But if Mrudul was to keep her in some creche or some things like that, then if that 5 hours becomes 6 hours, what will happen? Oh my God, okay, they will close, oh, they will go home, oh, who will take care of her? I only paid for 5 hours, what will happen? The worry will increase. So what is the difference between these two examples? Her trust in me makes her relax. Makes her relax about one of her most prized possessions, her daughter. But when the trust is not there, if she's paying for some service, like you have so many people in India, also in other countries, they will be rushing. They have paid the maid for 5 hours, they'll always be rushing home. Because 5 hours should not become 6 hours, because then, either the maid will go or you have to pay extra. So remember, we will not be able to rest unless we learn to trust. And this Atma Ram is a very important concept. Just, But Atma Ram doesn't mean tamasic. It's not like, I don't want to get up, God will give me, forget it. No. There is some self-effort in bhakti. That's why if you see the saints, they are working ceaselessly, non-stop. Non-stop. Going here, going there, going there, going there. Now, matta has another meaning also, which I want to clarify. Matta means, actually, it means divine madness. And this concept is there in every religion. Every religion. In Islam, in Judaism, in Christianity. In Christianity, there is a term, it's called mad for God. Mad for God. You know, in Christianity, so many women saints have written such amazing literature between 13th and 17th, 18th century about their love for Christ. And that love is like the Gopi love, but not allowed to surface. But when you love, everybody is not going to look at Christ as that light ball from sky, no? So many.
But when they, the nuns, they marry God.
Yes.
Their commitment to Christianity or to their chosen path is actually going through a marriage ceremony.
Yes.
And they wear white and they walk up to an altar and they get a ring put on.
Beautiful, beautiful. This is bhakti. And literature is also, there is so much literature which is not come out. Now slowly it's coming out.
Yes, and like Dame Julian of Norwich.
Dame Julian, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Her writing is
Yes.
incredible.
And sometimes it's risky, You read it and you wonder why, how did it was allowed in all this.
She's in a single little room, no other influences.
Correct.
And still it all.
Yes. And this, it's beautiful you're mentioning it because I have read a book about comparative survey between women mystics in India and women mystics in Christianity. And they mention about her. And she was secluded in her own room, but she had all the experiences of samadhi.
Because she had a really bad illness and
Yes.
she trusted it to God.
Yes.
And she almost died. And then,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have also read that how it was all hallucination and stuff like that. But if you really compare her experiences and her writing, they are literally exact experiences of a bhakta in their state of samadhi. Exact. And what does this mean? This means bhakti has nothing to do with Vishnu and Brahma. It could be Christ, it could be Muhammad, it could be everybody, anybody. Doesn't matter. Clear? So matta means divine madness. Also, why divine madness? Because when you are in a state like this, will society allow you to function? That is why it's madness basically, but we call it divine madness because who will like if you are always content? Will our society like whenever they ask you, how are you doing? Very happy. How are you doing? They will say, oh, he's lying. Nobody will believe you. Nobody will. How is it you look happy all the time? He's on drugs. Really? Society will not understand you, and then society has its biggest weapon, ostracize you. That's why you see, all saints are ostracized. All. Like separated from the society. There's a huge gap. If you look from society conditioning point of view, you cannot understand the saint. If you try to understand the saint from society point of view, you will not understand society. That's why I respect saints, because at their level, they come into the society and serve the people. That means how much is their mental adjustment? Compassion. Imagine, a person who has realized God coming down to the level of normal people, and in spite of normal people hating them, go on serving them. I want to know what is that empowerment that they have. Whilst what's with us, we go somewhere and somebody says one single thing against us and bam, it throws us off. This is how bhakti is empowering. Okay. Any questions till here? Good. So we'll take a little break and we'll sing. So we'll take a 5-minute break to use toilet and other things, and then come back and sing this. Okay, so take a break.